like sports? Do you like beer? Do you love sports and beer? Then you're exactly where you need to be. This is the Huebs Views and Brews show on 1252 Sports Chicago. Cheers.
How's everyone doing? Welcome on in. Huebs Views and Brews, a different time than usual and different space than usual too. We are all, as always, we're usually in the Whistle Sports Bar and Grill 159 studios, but today we're in my den in my new house. I got a bookcase. I tried to throw the bookcase up there just like they do on TV and everything else when guys are on the Zoom and everything else. But welcome on in, Huebs Views and Brews. FatMike will be joining me in a couple of minutes. And again, if you get a chance, the Whistle Sports Bar and Grill 159 are doing all kinds of things for these football playoffs every Saturday and Sunday. They got a big Super Bowl party coming up on February 12th. That is the Super Bowl. So check them out, the Whistle Sports Bar and Grill 159. Say hi to Mark, the owner. And it's just a great, great place. We figured because of the games over the weekend, we wanted to do a show today, but there's the sixth game of Super Wild Card Weekend comes up a little after 7. So I didn't want to be doing a show while that was going on. So I figured we start a little hour early. We get done at 7. And instead of being at the studio, we could do it from our homes. Mike can just watch his TV. I can watch mine, and we can do it that way. We'll be back in the studios next week. Here comes Mike. There he is. FatMike on the Huebs Views and Brews show. And Mike, we're going to talk a lot about the games. But first of all, happy 1-year anniversary.
Thank you.
It was 1 year ago today that Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace were fired.
Thank you. It was also, I think it was also 1 year ago today. Maybe it was 1 year since I posted the picture of you in the San Francisco 49er helmet.
Oh, that just might be. That might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you love throwing that picture up there. I had the helmet the other day. I did not have it on because I think my head's gotten a little bit bigger since I retired January 9th of last year. But, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Also, I saw a post that someone put up. This was pretty funny. Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith, and Ryan Poles all won the same number of playoff games this year. That's right. 0. Absolutely 0. Yeah, I know. Bears didn't even get to one. I'm going to open a beer first. And I'm going big today. This is a 2021 Bourbon County Classic Cola Stout. What makes it a Classic Cola Stout? Well, it's aged in bourbon barrels, and it's got brown sugar, citrus, coriander, spices, and natural vanilla flavor. I'm going to open it and try to open it over here because of my little setup here. Every time I touch the table or the mic, everything jumps around and makes noises. So I'm going to try and not do that. Plus, the two dogs are in the other room. You've always got 2 dogs in your house. You had 3 for a long time. I've got 2 dogs here. I'm waiting for them to come bouncing at the little gate I got here because they wonder who's he talking to? So I almost drank it right out of the bottle. But listen, you can hear it.
It sounds like cough syrup poured into that glass.
Well, it's a stout from last year. It's one of the ones that they've tried and they started it. I've never heard of a cola stout before. But they tried it. Bourbon County did. And I had one of these, and I figured today's as good a day as any to try it. I love the Bourbon County stouts, and this one's really good. It does have a little bit of, sometimes when you put a Coke or something, the drink, up to your nose, you feel like little bubbles in that. As I took the first sips, it tasted like I was drinking a Coke. But it's definitely the beer, and I want to say it's a little bit, it's 14% alcohol by volume. Just so everybody knows, like regular beers, like your Miller or your Bud, those are 4%. So they're throwing an extra 10% in here. So,
all right.
Oh, that's really tasty, really, really good. So I think this was a good idea. We do the show early. We get it done, and we can go sit and watch Tom Brady, the 45-year-old, go against Dak Prescott and the always disappointing Dallas Cowboys. We can talk more about that one in a little while, but that's just – I hope it's a good game because over the weekend I was watching PTI and Tony Kornheiser said the whole weekend had great games. Wilbon disagreed with him. But as a 49er fan, I thought the first game was a good game because you know what? Seattle was right there until that fumble.
The halftime of that game, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought San Fran should have been up on them by big.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf performing out. Geno Smith going out of his mind.
Yep.
DK Metcalf is before I finish my thought on DK Metcalf in the super wild card round is a dangerous player. So you guys in playoff pools and stuff like that, where you take a player that's remaining left in the playoffs, please take DK Metcalf. The guy has like 8 touchdowns over the last 3 years in the super wild card round.
Yeah.
He's insane.
You have to wait till next year to do that now, but because the Niners did come back to win. But you think about it, until that fumble, until that strip sack in the third quarter, the Niners, Seattle was right there. They were getting ready to go in. It was 23-17. Seattle was getting ready to take a lead, and the strip sack, all of a sudden, the Niners get the ball, and it was over. That was it after that. Brock Purdy. You know what?
Unbelievable.
He took all kinds of crap, I'm sure, from friends and family for being Mr. Irrelevant. Now he's 6-0 as a starter with the Niners.
This kid is unbelievable, man. I keep on riding his coattails too, and I keep on, giving ass slaps to the kid all over social media because the kid has been absolutely unbelievable. He's been absolutely awesome. He's been great. I keep on saying, what do I keep on saying? What the hell do I say? I don't know. My MVP, M-I-MVP, Mr. M-I-MVP, Mr. Irrelevant, Most Valuable Player. The kid is unbelievable. This kid is going out there, and it just goes to show how good Kyle Shanahan's offense and scheme is.
Right.
Where, Fred, I'm pretty sure you could go out there in your San Fran helmet on your nightstand and go out there and go 21-27 for 310 and 3 tutties.
Yeah. He's got an offensive line that protects him for the most part. He can also get away from guys if he has to. He doesn't run much, but look at his weapons. Kittle, Debo. Talk about Debo. He catches that ball on the left sideline, and then he just turns it on. He ran away from people who were chasing him as fast as they could go. He just pulled away, and then McCaffrey is so unbelievable. This guy he's such a wonderful player. Keeping him healthy is always the biggest thing with him. But when he's healthy, he can catch the ball. He can run. He eludes people. It's a team that most people are picking to make the Super Bowl. Me as a Niner fan, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy it, and hopefully they get there. But it was just wonderful. And their defense steps up too. Greenlaw is back. They got Warner. They got a lot of guys. Ward was having all kinds of problems early because of the receivers with Lockett and with DK Metcalf. But that was to be expected. And now they're going to play the winner of tonight's game on Sunday. It'll be the last game on Sunday night. I think a 5:30 start. It'll be the Niners hosting either Dallas or Tampa Bay. But the Niners, and as far as I know, they came out of the game pretty well. Not many injuries or anything. And you're right about Kyle Shanahan, though, because all the talk today is about certain coaches that didn't do a good job. And Kyle Shanahan has a third-string quarterback out there who's now 6-0. His team's healthy, and they seem to be marching towards another Super Bowl.
Right, and I want to give credits where credit's due. There's a guy that you didn't mention in your list of running down all your San Fran players. A guy that's kind of an unsung hero that if you watch him play, he does everything exactly how you want it to be done, and that's Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah,
Brandon Ayuk is the prototypical wide receiver. This guy reminds me of a better Anquan Bolden, just without the numbers.
Okay.
He does everything how it needs to be done. Blocking. Running routes, catching balls when you need him to catch the ball, blocking for Christian McCaffrey, blocking for Brandon Ayuk, blocking for George Kittle. This guy is unbelievable. And Brandon Ayuk, that dude's a Pro Bowler all the way. That guy, he's unbelievable.
Well, and it just goes to show you that if you do what the coaches teach you and show you, Like, not many receivers are great blockers, but the Niners guys do that. George Kittle, tremendous catching the ball, but also blocks really well. Their scheme is
Right.
tremendous. When I was working at ESPN 1000, Tom Waddle and Jeff Meller, we had him on the show talking fantasy football before the season. They would just sit in amazement at the play calling ability and the number of plays and the style of plays that Kyle Shanahan would have for this 49er team. And you watch them, and I don't know how any defense is going to try to stop these guys, because with all the weapons they have, the blocking they have on the offensive line, and this kid just gaining confidence as they go, being 6-0 in starts. I cannot wait till next Sunday night. And Sunday's going to be a great battle, because we're going to, earlier on in the the other game, I got a pop-up coming on my screen. Earlier in the other games, the first game on Sunday is going to be Cincinnati and Buffalo.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be great.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That game's in Buffalo. I thought that was I thought they were supposed to put that game along with a championship game in someplace else, because if they would have played the Buffalo-Cincinnati game, Cincinnati could have won that game and been a team that would have been hosting that. Could they not?
Something's goofy. It was a Buffalo and if Buffalo and Kansas City were to meet up, then it would be a coin flip game, and the game would have taken place in Atlanta.
I thought Cincinnati got screwed, though, because, I mean, obviously, DeMar Hamlin, going into cardiac arrest, the game called off. I understand that. But I thought Cincinnati had a chance to be a 1 or 2 seed.
I think so, too.
If they would have won that game, and because they didn't, it's not really fair, in my opinion, that game's going to be in Buffalo. But whatever, that'll be the game on Sunday. Let's talk about the games. We talked about the Niners in Seattle, the Jacksonville and the Charger game. I'm sitting here watching the game. It's 27-0. I walk into the other room in my new house here in Lockport, and Linda goes, "Aren't you watching the game?" I said, "I don't know if I'm going to watch the second half. It's 27-0. It's a blowout." And all of a sudden, the Chargers do what the Chargers do. The Chargers just stopped. They stopped playing. They stopped their offense. The defense let things go. And here comes Trevor Lawrence, who had probably the worst first quarter in the history of playoff football. 4 interceptions. Oh my God.
Terrible.
Yeah. And I felt bad for the kid, but you know what? He came back. Jacksonville comes all the way back. They win 31-30. They get a field goal at the very end to win it. That was amazing. The Chargers, with all the things they have, okay, and I know Mike Williams didn't play, but they have Keenan Allen, they have Palmer, they have Eckler, they have weapons, okay? They scored 3 points in the second half of that game. And now everyone says,
go ahead. I'm sorry, Fred.
I'm just saying, everyone now says Brandon Staley should be fired. Okay.
I think so, too.
When you blow a 27-0 lead, there's a good chance you can be, or it should be. But I know that Sean Payton already has 3 interviews lined up. And from what I understand, the Chargers are not a team that likes to spend big money on coaches. But, yeah, I mean, Staley, they get him there, but they just can't move forward. And, that was shocking. You blow a 27-0 lead. That's what made this whole weekend wonderful, is because every game had twists and turns in it like this.
Every game was a tough game besides the outlier, the San Fran-Seattle game. Second half in that game turned into a shit show. It was all San Fran the whole way.
Yeah.
All right, but this game here, this game bothered me, okay? Because I'm sitting here on Saturday night watching. My wife and I were sitting here. I'm watching football. I had no bets going because I didn't like either of the Saturday games. So I'm just there. I'm like, all right, whatever, no big deal. And I take a shower. I come lay on the couch. I'm getting ready for this game. And we're sitting there. We're watching it. And by the time I look up, Trevor Lawrence has already thrown 3 interceptions. I'm like, and I'm watching it in the back. I was like, this game sucks. I'm gonna keep it on just for shits and giggles.
Right.
And that's it. So you know me. I'm fat. I'm lazy. I recline in my chair. I'm doing my
fell asleep. Took a nap.
I'm taking a tiny little snoozerooski.
Yeah.
I'm peeking. I'm listening. I'm resting my eyes. Not sleeping.
That's right. Just resting your eyes. Yeah.
Right. But I'm sitting there. It's like, okay, I'm listening. And the game starts getting interesting. It starts getting a little more interesting. And I was like, oh boy. And then by the time it was all said and done, they're kicking a field goal for the win. And I do blame Brandon Staley for this loss. Because it's not just this loss that he lost. It's not just a 27-point lead that he gave up and lost this game. He, as a head coach, has done this over the last 2 years. Games that he should have won, he blows because he's kicking a field goal when he's down by 10 with 2 minutes left. Go for the touchdown. What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, he makes all these dumb calls. So, yes, I would move on from Brandon Staley. And I like Brandon Staley because he was a part of here. He was a big part of the Vic Fangio defense being out here in Chicago. I do like Brandon Staley, but it's time to move on because obviously, one, he doesn't know how to manage a time clock. Two, he doesn't know how to put points on the board. Three, he doesn't know whether or not to show balls. You got to get rid of a guy like that. He doesn't know. He still needs more time to learn. When
you have a 27-0 lead, as an offense, one of the things you have to do, still go for it, still go for the jugular. But what you got to do is just get first downs, keep the ball, move the ball downfield, take time off the clock. You got a nice lead like that. I know that Jacksonville scored before the half, but still, it was ridiculous that you blow a lead like that. I love watching Jacksonville. ATM with a 25-yard run on 4th and 1. What Doug Peterson has done with that team and with Trevor Lawrence is absolutely amazing because you look at what they have. When you look at what they have or what they don't have, and it's hard to fathom that they're a team moving on to the divisional playoffs with that win. But they win 31-30. That was nice to see. It's always nice to see fresh blood in there. Let's get to the first game on Sunday because Buffalo and Miami. Everybody thinks Buffalo, they got so many weapons. They got Diggs. They got Davis. They've got the other wide receiver I keep forgetting when I was talking to you on the phone the other day. But they,
Cole Beasley, Dawson Knox.
Yeah, Dawson Knox. That guy scores constantly. Mike didn't fall out. He just dropped his phone. But, yeah, they have Dawson Knox who always scores. It's ridiculous how that guy scores each and every week. They have a 17-0 lead. Josh Allen's doing real well, but he starts turning the ball over. 1 interception, 2 interceptions. He fumbles. And Miami comes into this game with Skylar Thompson. Okay. Skylar Thompson, because of Skylar Thompson, you were not expecting to see much from Tyreek Hill or also Waddle. Okay. And Waddle drops an easy pass early in the game. Then he went out for a little while because he had a rib injury or something. He came back. He made a nice play here and there. They didn't run the ball. Mostert runs on that team. I didn't see him at all. I don't even know that he played in that game. But they have some running backs. They couldn't do anything. But they come all the way back, and they get a win. Or they make it close. Okay, Buffalo hangs on to get the victory. But still, you blow a 17-0 lead. Josh Allen with 3 turnovers. Do you expect Buffalo that one's out of their way? Now the game against Cincinnati at home against the Bengals will be what we're all looking forward to, like a classic matchup between these two.
The problem with Cincinnati, the problem with Buffalo is that they don't know how to eat clock. That's the problem with Buffalo.
I'm glad you were very specific with the way you said that.
They don't know how to eat clock, not the other one, guys. Clock.
Not the other one, right?
I said clock.
Yes, you did.
Let me do my best Carmen. I said clock.
Yes, you did say clock. Yeah.
They don't know how to eat clock, and that's the problem with that team. They're such a high-powered, super fast offense. They're so vertical with Diggs and Gabriel Davis and Dawson Knox, Devin Singletary, Cole Beasley. Thank you, Cole Beasley. Thank you.
The running back Cook, because Cook's there, he can fly. He is such a good running back. They have an abundance of weapons, and they don't seem to use them all the way they should.
Right, and that's the problem with that team. So now you have Cincinnati coming in there, a team that's versatile up and down with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and you got Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon and Perrine, or however you want to say his name. Like they know how to just chew away at it a little bit and just take seconds off and beat into that clock a little bit, and it's nice. You see a team with a defense now that's starting to come around. it happens. And that's how the Cincinnati Bengals have really turned their corner from week 6, week 7 on this year. Because they're like, hey, Joe, let's let Joe Burrow run his game. Stop getting in the way, Zach Taylor. Let Joe Burrow do his thing.
Yeah.
And he has.
It's
going to be a fun game.
It is, definitely. So Buffalo does advance. They host Cincinnati, and that'll be the first game on Sunday. It's a 2:30 start because they got to get out because 60 Minutes is on, So let's see.
We got a question from our guy, Mike Hughes. He says, Fred, how many current Bears players do you think you could outdrink in a sit-down? And what player do you think can hang with the great Huebner?
I don't know. These younger players can drink a lot. I mean, and then they may not be able to get up from the table, but they can drink a lot. Yeah. So you can drink a lot too, but the stuff you drink, the FatMike Lager and Nick and Ivy, you can drink that. But okay, let's pound a few 14.3% alcohols and see how far that goes. So I almost pulled a barley wine upstairs, and I got a fridge here, which you'll see. I'm thinking about, since we couldn't make the Super Wildcard Weekend party, I had 2 people here. I had Linda's brother-in-law Dennis, along with Linda's daughter and the 2 grandkids, and my brother Barry. My brother said, "Hey, I used to come to your house for peace and quiet. Now we got 2 little grandkids running around." But everybody turned out to be sick. So I'm thinking that, you and Paul from Nick and Ivy and a couple other people, maybe for Championship Sunday. If you're interested, come on. Championship Sunday, 2 huge games where the winners go to the Super Bowl. We can be all set for that.
I'm in.
Before we get to the other 2 games, the remaining 2 games, and look at the other one, let's hear from the sponsors, because I mentioned Nick and Ivy. We get all kinds of sponsors. And I mentioned we're not in the studio, but the Whistle Sports Bar and Grill 159, nice enough to give us that wonderful studio down the street in Lockport, and we'll be back there again next Monday night. I'm not a big fan of the Monday night wild card game. I would much rather have had 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday.
Me too.
We got another one tonight. That's why we're on early at 6 o'clock. So let's hear from the sponsors. We come back. We'll talk more about the other remaining games because Kirk Cousins is going home. The Vikings are done. I know most Bears fans are smiling and really happy about that. We'll talk about that and more. Huebs Views and Brews. Fat Mike joining me here on 1252 Sports.
There we go.
Hello, this is Paul from Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. We are located at 1026 South State Street in historic downtown Lockport, Illinois. We are very excited to be partnering up with the FatMike ChicagoSports Show as well as the 1252 brand because we are one of the few Chicagoland breweries that embrace sports and sports culture. Come in for a fresh brewed beer made right here in Lockport while catching the game of your favorite team. Stay for the live music that we have booked every weekend. Or just come for a cozy atmosphere to enjoy a good conversation with a friend, loved one, or complete stranger. Nick and Ivy makes you feel right at home no matter what the occasion is. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching for Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. Visit our website for our up-to-date tap list or to go shopping on our online store at nickivybrewing.com. That's Nikivy brewing.com. Come in today for fresh brewed beer born and raised in Lockport, Illinois.
I'm back when I'm not.
Hi, this is Kathy O'Connell at Coach's Corner, located at 8118 West 143rd Street in Orland Park. Our phone number is 708-364-1026. We are Orland Park's #1 sports bar. Come in for our wonderful beer menu and seltzers with a fully stocked bar. Watch a game, drink a beer, and try something off our amazing menu. We have everything to choose from: nachos, potato skins, and our house-made bar chips to start off with. Then try our tacos, burgers, and one of our delicious sandwiches. And don't leave without trying our famous jumbo wings. They do not disappoint. Coach's Corner. It will sure to become your local bar. Again, we are located at 8118 West 143rd Street in Orland Park. Come see us today.
Aussie football, are you ready, brother? Real football action on a glossy game surface played shuffle style. Slide a shuffle puck at pass or run targets and a free mobile app keeps track of every game detail. Easy to learn, but this game of skill is difficult to master. Take care of the ball, or turnovers will kill your drive.
I guess
the
we're
game
back.
is guaranteed to get your
Huebs Views and
competitive fire
Brews.
burning.
FatMike joining me here at Huebs
To
Views
take
Brews.
anywhere,
Mike is off right
the
now.
park, a barbecue, your next tailgate, or fun at home on game nights.
We're taking
Aussie
place
football is simply
over
the best,
Super Wild
most
Card.
realistic and competitive
And,
game of
you
football
mentioned
available
Carmen.
anywhere at defense.
And Carmen's a big guy who, he'll always make sure he clarifies exactly what he said. And I posted something today on Twitter, and I'm sure that Danny Zetterman and some of the people at Good Karma are probably not happy with me posting what I posted. But I said, I'm sure a lot of sports radio fans would have liked to have heard the opinions of Super Wildcard Weekend from Cap and Jay Hood and Carmen and Yurko and Waddle and Sylvie and Bleck and Abdallah. But Good Karma Brands gives everybody Martin Luther King Day off. And if I was working there, I would have said, listen, I want to work. I want to be on the air. I want to talk about 5 playoff games. It's going to be kind of stale talking about it tomorrow. But that's what they do. So, whatever. I had to listen to I turned on the radio at what was it? A little bit before 8. And I'm listening to God. Who were those guys in the morning? Oh my God. Keyshawn and God, talk about bad.
Get up
Absolutely
where
brutal.
it is, it stinks.
Oh yeah, brutal. Yeah, Max,
Yeah.
you're
Max
you know boxing. Yeah, you know boxing. That's about it. Sorry. Let's talk about the other 2 games that were played on Sunday. Think about how the New York fans just raked Daniel Jones over the coals for years. Okay, since he's gotten there, just cannot stand the guy. And now they're loving him as a quarterback, okay? Not only does he throw the ball to no receivers, he's got half his receivers are out. Darius Slayton drops an easy ball over the middle late in the game. Thank goodness for them. They held on to get the victory. They signed Kenny Golladay. He's been a complete bust with them so far. And they get this guy, Isaiah Hodgins, 8 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown. But Daniel Jones leads the Giants over Minnesota 31-24. He goes 301 and 2 touchdowns. He rushes 17. Geez, that's right. 17 rushes or 11. I can't read my own writing. For 78 yards. And they rattled off a stat. He got 58 first downs this year running the ball during the season. And now they move on. They move on to the next round. Giants will play the second game. They get Philadelphia again for the 3rd time this year. They'll play Jalen Hurts at Philadelphia for the second game on Saturday. But what were your thoughts about the Giants? And we'll get into Minnesota in a second. But the Giants, Saquon looked like he had a mission, and he looked really good. That's the way you expected Saquon Barkley to run the last couple of years.
I've been saying it for the past couple of weeks now, especially to my friends, family, even on my shows. Daniel Jones, he lucked into the greatest situation he could possibly ever ask for, Brian Daboll being his new head coach. Brian Daboll literally went from the Buffalo Bills as the offensive coordinator, play caller up there, calling plays and teaching Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Thank you. Teaching Josh Allen is pretty much the same type of quarterback. Big body, can move a little bit, big arm. And if you really look at it, Daniel Jones kind of had the poor man's traits of a Josh Allen when before Brian Daboll got there. And now Brian Daboll's there, he's only going to go out there and give Danny Jones exactly what he needs to be a successful quarterback. Yep. He's going to Danny, this is what you're good at. This is what you're not good at. We're going to do more of this, then we're going to do more of that. You're going to do your thing. And both, if you look at the comparison between Josh Allen and Danny Dimes, I mean, literally, big arms, both of them, big bodies, both of them, can extend the play, both of them, and both can run. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, it's the same quarterback. Brian Daboll went from quarterback A, quarterback 1A, 2A.
Yeah. It was amazing. I mean, I thought the Giants played a really good game. Saquon was running the ball really well early, got him on the board early. You could tell how pumped up they were. Minnesota had an interesting stat. We talked about it last week and the week before. They were 11-0 this year in one-score games. 11-0 in a regular season in one-score games. Yep. Their first game in the playoffs, one-score game, and they lose.
Yep.
A lot of people they're all over Kirk Cousins today, okay? All over Kirk Cousins for throwing that pass at the end of the game on 4th and 8, and he throws a 4-yard pass.
Yep,
now
3-yard pass to 3-yard pass to Hawkinson, right?
When you're the quarterback, you can throw to the guys that are open, okay? And they really, going into the game, it was all about Jefferson. And you know Jefferson. You had Jefferson in your fantasy team all year long. But for the game, Jefferson, 7 catches, 47 yards. This is after Week 16, Jefferson had 133 yards and I think 11 catches against the same Giants defense. Now, they slowed him down a little bit. I don't know if they slowed him down. They double-teamed him. But they have other weapons. They have Osgood, who caught a touchdown pass. They have Thielen, who had 4 balls thrown his way. That's a mistake. That's offensive coaching. That's not Cousins, in my opinion. Right. So I know Kirk Cousins gets the blame. He's been taking the blame for years and years and years and raking in the money too. But I don't know that I blame Cousins as much as I blame the offensive play calling for that, because they have weapons. You have Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook disappeared. You didn't see him at all in the second half.
No, you didn't see any Alexander Mattinson either, and that was a big thing. Again, playoff football is a whole lot different than regular season football, guys. I mean, Fred, you know this. We watch teams all season long that are fast, score points, get up big, and just play lax the rest of the game. In the playoffs, you can't do that. You got to take the points when they come, and you got to eat as much of that clock. I said clock as you can. You got to eat as much of that time as you possibly can, being in the opposing team, and that's how you win playoff games. And yesterday, it just when the Vikings had the lead, it seemed to let off the brakes a little bit. When you got to stop everything that happens.
Yeah, you got to score as much as you can in the playoffs. You never know. The other team's going to come back. I'm looking at Cousins' numbers, 31 for 39, 273, and 2 touchdowns, okay? That's not bad at all, okay? You can't blame him for that. But there were also some other calls in that game. The roughing the passer call late in the game, unbelievable. Now, the defender has his hands on Cousins while he still has the ball. He throws him to the ground, and they get called roughing the passer. And the play continues. People that talk about the league and games being fixed, you never want to believe it. But you see something like that and you say, how could it not be? Just a brutal call. And I actually love this weekend. I actually love that they had each game, it seemed, they had their official with them, and Gene Steratore, whoever it was. And, there were times where they were saying, that's the wrong call. That should have been called. That's not called. I don't know why that was wrong. Why'd they do this? Right. And there were a lot of calls throughout the thing, and I really liked it. Maybe the NFL looks at this and works a little bit better. But I guess the NFL's done something this year that I didn't notice a lot during the season, but now I'm noticing in the playoffs, and that is they're checking things beforehand. They got someone upstairs, and they're checking on things. They call a play, and all of a sudden they say, well, after further review, this was called wrong, and they correct it. And that's the way it should be. We always talk about the sky judge. You and I talked about this a year and a half ago. A sky judge who's up there and buzzes down and said, listen, you guys got the call wrong. It seems like the NFL is finally starting to get there, correcting calls before they have to go to the review and everything like that.
Right, and that's awesome. I love it because it keeps the game moving. It keeps the game moving. It keeps the action going. That's one thing I like about it with baseball as well. But it keeps the game moving. It keeps you intrigued. It keeps you locked in. It's not a 5-second. It's not a 2-minute delay in the game where you're sitting there and you're waiting. The refs still have no idea what the hell they're looking at. Right. They have one official main ref somewhere in New York, wherever the hell whoever he may be, and he tells them, hey, you got that one wrong, get it going.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt. So the Giants move on. Minnesota goes home. They're finished. Daniel Jones, 301, 2 touchdowns, like you said, 78 yards running the ball. It'll be interesting. I'm pulling for them to beat Philadelphia, not because I'm a Niner fan and I'd rather face the Giants, but I I don't know. Jalen Hurts has done a great job. Philadelphia's been good. But it's funny. I was, again, watching PTI today, and you think about it, the Philadelphia got a chance to play the Giants and not really great teams. When you play the Giants, you play the Cowboys. And I don't know. I just don't think Philadelphia is nearly as good as a lot of people out there do think. I think Jalen Hurts is really good. I'm not sure about Philadelphia.
So I think that offensive line is awesome. That's what makes Jalen Hurts very good. And I think the defense is enough to keep you in games, especially when the offense spends so much time on the field. So I mean that's what makes that team great again, because they manage their time well. Jalen Hurts knows how to extend a play and find the open guy, and they got a good rushing attack out there with Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts as well. It's an all aspects type of the game. That's one thing I will forever disagree with Carmen and Yurko on. There are three facets of the game. There is special teams, there is offense, and there is defense. Special teams is a big thing. It's a really big thing. So
okay, we talked about that game. Now the Cincinnati-Baltimore game yesterday. Tyler Huntley played very damn well for a quarterback who they weren't sure going in if it was going to be him or not. He had 2 touchdowns, but he also tries to reach the ball over the goal line near the end of the game, which would have given them the lead. He fumbles the ball, and Sam Hubbard, who not only plays for the Bengals, from Cincinnati, went to Moeller High School, picks up the ball, runs 98 yards, and there was a block in the back as Mark Andrews was flying. That tight end was trying to catch him. He was close, but all of a sudden he gets pushed in the back. No call on that, which should have been. Talk about a clear penalty. I mean, more than half the people at the stadium probably figured that was going to get called. It did not. But Cincinnati goes on to a 24-17 win. The Bengals did not look as good as you thought they would. Chase played well. You didn't see much. He had Chase 99 catches, 84 yards. Burrow 23 for 32, just 209 and the touchdown to Chase. They have so many weapons on that team. Mixon and all the receivers, Higgins, Boyd, their tight end, everybody. But they just did not play all that well. I'm wondering if they took Baltimore for granted. I know they just played last week, okay? But not a lot was shown in that game, in the final game of the regular season. But
I know
Baltimore came to play.
Yeah. I know the statistics don't add up to where it's, when you see a third dime, it's a tougher game. So I've been hearing all week. It's still hard to beat a team 3 times, man. And I don't care what the statistics say. It's hard to win 2 out of 3 in paper, scissors, rock, let alone a football game. Okay? It's still tough. Okay? But you're right. The Bengals kind of maybe thought they were going to go in there and roll all over them again, and that wasn't the case. And again, playoff football is a different brand of football. It's a different breed of football. And what the Ravens did yesterday was outstanding. They played a hard-fought game. They were the defense they had, locking down Burrow underneath 225 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, Chase pretty much had all of his stats in the first quarter.
That's right, early.
And that's legit. He had them really early. The rest of the game, Jamar Chase was a fart in the wind. You didn't even see it. He was gone. He was gone the rest of the game. But yeah, I mean the Bengals, they lucked out in this one. I think they bounce back next week against Buffalo in a game that should have been played 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And I think they come back. It's going to be a hard-fought game that's coming up Sunday.
That's going to be so much fun. Sunday at 2, followed by the Niners playing the winner of tonight's game. Again, Saturday it's Jacksonville, Kansas City at 3:30, and then the Giants taking on Philadelphia 7:15. Should be another great weekend of football. Let's talk really quickly about tonight's game because the Cowboys are a 2.5-point favorite against Tom Brady in Tampa. Tom Brady doesn't play poorly usually in the playoffs, and they do have weapons. Okay, they got Godwin. They have Evans. They have a couple of tight ends I like. Okay, they got Otten. They also have Cameron Brate. If I'm not mistaken, he's back and ready to play. Dallas just seems to screw things up. They've got Pollard. They got Ezekiel Elliott. You see CeeDee Lamb and all their other receivers. But what are your thoughts going in? Is it all going to be a Prescott against Brady kind of thing?
So I'm going to go with what I know, okay? And this is what I know. I know that Tom Brady has won every other Super Bowl since 2013. That's what I know, okay?
Yeah.
That's what I know. I'm not making that shit up, Fred. He's won every other Super Bowl since 2013, okay? I don't care what his record says. Again, I mean, this is what, the fourth, fifth time I've said it tonight now. Playoff football is a whole different type of football.
Yes, it is.
I don't care how good the Cowboys were this past year. I don't care if they went fucking 17-0. I don't care. All right. I learned my lesson years ago. Never bet against Tom Brady. So if we have a couple minutes here by the end of this game,
yeah, we will.
I'm hitting money line for Tom Brady and an anytime touchdown scorer for Tony Pollard.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting too, because then Tom Brady, we get a chance to go to San Francisco, where he grew up, where he watched Joe Montana play as a kid. Not Montana as a kid, but Brady as a kid, and he would play next Sunday. But the Cowboys 2.5 point favorite. They've been the over/under is 45.5. I'm not sure if it's going to get that high. It sounds like a high over/under. But before we go and take another break, every game this weekend, all 5 games, were all over. Every single game. I had the Bengals game as an under, and it went over by a point, I think. Yeah, it was the over/under was 41. It went to it was 40, and it went to 41. Okay, every game was over, so they're scoring points, and 4 of the 5 dogs won. So that leads to you again with Tampa being a 2.5 point underdog, getting a chance to win the game tonight. But the dogs are 4-1. The over covered all 5 games, and cannot wait for this one. We come back. We got a little bit of baseball. And we're going to bring up Mike Hughes again, because he was a guy who was nice enough to watch the show and contribute a little bit. We got to talk about him a little bit, and also some of the other things that happened this week. We'll do that after we hear from more sponsors. It's Fat Mike joining me, Fred Huebner. Huebs Views Brews on 1252. Back after this.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Darren, licensed real estate broker with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group in Homer Glen. Are you looking to buy or sell? Have you been disappointed in the past? The Jonathan Darren team with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group focuses on providing you with a concierge level of service during the process of buying or selling. We are a service-oriented team with a fresh and professional approach to selling real estate. Our goal is to combine knowledge, skills, and passion to exceed our clients' expectations, and most of all, we truly care. We are a knowledgeable real estate team focused on offering expertise and innovative solutions for our clients. The Jonathan Darren team has 5 full-service real estate brokers and a dedicated full-time marketer servicing all of Chicagoland. We will customize a detailed plan around your timeline for a sale, purchase, investment, estate, or other needs. Real estate transactions can be stressful, but don't need to be. Let us handle it for you. Visit our website, homesbyjdt.com, or call 708-308-1938 today. Expect better in real estate. Choose the Jonathan Darren team.
Fozzie football, are you ready, brother? Real football action on a glossy game surface played shuffle style. Slide a shuffle puck at pass or run targets, and a free mobile app keeps track of every game detail. Easy to learn, but this game of skill is difficult to master. Take care of the ball, or turnovers will kill your drive. The game is guaranteed to get your competitive fire burning, and it's perfectly sized to take anywhere. The park, a barbecue, your next tailgate, or fun at home on game night. Fozzie football is simply the best, most realistic and competitive game of football available anywhere. Add defense when your skill improves, and take the game to the next level. The perfect mix of fast action and real football drama, where a last-second Hail Mary can break hearts or make champions.
Stagecoach in Lockport has a unique...
We are back here on Huebs Views Brews. My little puppy, Penny, not puppy, he's a big dog. Penny was just in here wanting to get a little loving, so we did that, took care of that at a commercial break. Couple things I wanted to get to. First of all, it's soccer. Nobody cares except, you got into the World Cup. Okay, you got into the World Cup. You also want to go to a Fire game with me this year. We will go to a Fire game, at least one, if not more. The Chicago Fire,
man, those guys are real good with their feet.
Yes, they're very good with their feet. You and me, we're playing. When you come over for a couple weeks, we'll play some FIFA before the game
You're
starts.
going down. Team
I'm sure
Poland.
I will. I'm sure I will. Yeah. The Chicago Fire had a 19-year-old striker, a forward, 19 years old. He had 8 goals, 3 assists in his time with the Chicago Fire. They just sold him to Aston Villa from the English Premier League for $22 million. That's right, $22 million. So it's good for the Chicago Fire. They're able to buy some other people. But if you're a Chicago Fire fan, they got rid of a goalkeeper who's from the area, Salonina, his name is, and they also get rid of this guy Duran. He goes to Aston Villa, but it's for money, and that's what happens in soccer. You got players, you develop them, and all of a sudden they go to Europe, and that's what's happening with some of these guys. So that was my little soccer thing for the moment. We'll talk a lot more soccer, maybe ever, sometime. What?
So you can't say that they sold him.
They did. They sold him in his contract to
the other
Aston
team.
Villa.
They sold his rights, didn't sell him.
Lock, stock, and barrel. They sold him here. So anyway, he plays for Colombia, for the Colombian national team. Okay, and a really good young player. We had a chance to see him. Linda and I went to a few games this year. Had a chance to see him. Very, very good player. Very speedy. Cannot wait till he gets a chance to play for Aston Villa. So I got some baseball stuff.
Let's go. I know one thing. I want to say one. Go ahead. If you don't bring it up.
Mike Hughes, who jumped on with the show. He was nice enough to watch the show. Mike's got a great show. He talks to a lot of Cub youngsters, okay? And Matt Mervis is a guy that everybody's been talking about, a guy that played in their minor leagues. A lot of people think he should be here. This week, officially, the Chicago Cubs signed 2 first basemen, Eric Hosmer, who hits from the left side, and Trey Mancini. Thank God. I love Trey Mancini. I've had a chance to meet him. He's a great guy. He recovered from cancer. I saw him play at Notre Dame because the guy that hit before him was my buddy's son, Eric Chigilo, and they played at Notre Dame. It's great to see Trey Mancini in a Cubs uniform. I may have to get Marquee now. They're going to cost me money. So anyway, Trey Mancini hitting from the right side, Eric Hosmer from the left side. Mervis probably a DH if he stays with the team or if he comes up later on. But think about it. Bellinger, Barnhart, Tyone, Swanson, Hosmer, Mancini. The Cubs and Jed Hoyer have been really busy. Yep, and they've been really busy. Mike Hughes knows all these young guys that are hopefully coming up. So make sure you follow Mike Hughes on his podcast because he does a great job keeping you up to date with some of these Cubs that are going to be playing at Wrigley Field in the near future.
Yeah, I'm excited to be a Cub fan right now. I think, honestly, this is me. This is Mike January 16th. Okay.
Okay.
All right. But the Cardinals really haven't done much. The Brewers are taking a step back, and Pirates and Cincinnati always suck. I think the Cubs may potentially have a chance to win the division.
I heard Tom Ricketts. I heard Tom Ricketts this week. I heard Tom Ricketts this week talk with Cap and Jay Hood, and he's smart enough to know that their way into the playoffs, their way into the playoffs is to win the division because with all of the competition in the East, you're not going to win a wild card. So you got to win the division. And like you just said, St. Louis, those are huge games this year. I mean, they're always huge, but the schedule's different this year too. It's a balanced schedule. I think they call it balanced. It was unbalanced. Now it's balanced. So baseball is going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. And the Cubs have done a lot. I mean, for those Cub fans who put up with the team last year, they're going to get to enjoy some baseball. They'll get to enjoy some baseball this year.
You know what, though? I will say this, because not only myself, but, I hang around with our sponsor a lot, our guy Paul over at Nick and Ivy.
Yeah.
We watched a lot of Cub games last year.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. We've seen some new pitching prospect, and new pitching come through the pipeline here that's we've been waiting on forever. Guys like Samson, who's an older guy, who's an older gent. You got Caleb Killian and the Polak kid that I can say that because I'm Polish, Wisniewski, and you get just so Justin Steele, and the list goes on and on and on. It's like not only that, but I just named all those guys right now. Those guys may or may not be a part of this year's rotation. You still have Kyle Hendricks, Drew Smiley, Jameson Tyone.
Yep. Marcus Stroman. Yep.
You know, I mean, the list goes on. The Cubs got a lot of pitching right now, and I'm excited for it. I do like that's what I was going to say, but if you didn't mention it, I love the signing of Trey Mancini.
Yep, absolutely.
When this last summer, when you and I went to go see in the boxes with the girlfriends and the wives.
Yeah,
we hung out, and I was just so excited to watch Trey Mancini play.
Yep,
and it was awesome. He had a 2-run. He had a solo shot that game. Yep. I mean, absolute bomb. And Trey, listen, I love that. I love that comeback kid. He's from in the area. Grew up a Cub fan. Bring him here,
You know, it's funny how everybody that comes to the Cubs grew up a Cub fan. I don't know how that happens, but anyway, I don't know if you heard.
Awesome.
I don't know if you heard this news today. It's sad news, and I'm trying to pull one over on you. But did you hear that Frank Thomas passed away today?
No.
Yes, Frank Thomas, a 3-time Pirates All-Star back in the day, a member of the '62 Mets. Frank Thomas.
I'm not even a Sox fan. That was like, whoa.
I know. When I first saw it, it came across my phone. It says Frank Thomas passes away. I said, "What the hell?" I'm sitting on the couch, and Linda goes, "What's wrong?" You go, "Frank Thomas passed away," and she goes, "Oh," and I look, I go, "Oh, he's the guy that played back in the day. He is in the 50s and
Frank
early 60s."
Thomas, the barber from Burp.
Yeah. So he. It's been a rough week, and I'm a huge Jeff Beck fan. And Jeff Beck, one of in my opinion, the greatest guitarist that was ever out there. And he played tremendous stuff. He played with the Yardbirds. He played the Yardbirds. Had Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, and Rod Stewart on vocals back in the day. He passed away the other day. He got meningitis, passed away in like a day. All of a sudden, boom. Yep. And Mike, you've been sick enough the last couple of weeks. I'm glad you haven't gotten that. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, hey, listen.
But yes, I know. Yeah, I know.
My body's a temple, Fred.
It is. And as I said, the Temple of Doom. It is the Temple of Doom. But anyway, Jeff Beck was amazing. I had a chance to see him in concert at least once or twice, and an amazing guitarist. But I was watching something on YouTube. No, I'm sorry, on Facebook, and it was Alice Cooper talking to 5 music people, like younger people than Alice Cooper. And he said, listen, he said, when I was young, he goes, we were still in high school. We had a group called the Spiders. And he goes, we played all Yardbird stuff. He goes, and we opened one time for the Yardbirds. And he said, we played all the Yardbird song, and they were off on the side of the stage, giving us thumbs up and everything else. He goes, then they came out and played the same songs, and none of them sounded like what we played. And he talked about Jeff Beck. He talked about some of the things Jeff Beck did on guitar. And he said, listen, he said, Eric Clapton was a great blues guitar player. He said, Jimmy Page was a great rock and roll guitar player. He said, Jeff Beck was the guitar player's guitar player.
Right.
And he was an amazing talent. And there's been videos out throughout the week. Jeff Beck, absolutely tremendous. I'm so not distraught, but I've got his first album, Blow by Blow, and his second album, Wired, if you get a chance. If you're a fan of music and guitar and instrumental guitar, he's so good. And it's great stuff.
There's the Blow by Blow. There's times on that album where I seriously feel that there's 3 guitars being played and it's just one.
It's just him.
He's just so damn good.
Yeah, he's an absolute genius, and it's tough to see that he left. at 78 years old. Lisa Marie Presley passed away. Gina Lola Brigida passed away today. I mean, all people are dying constantly, and that happens on a daily basis. One comes in, one goes out. I guess that's the way it works. So we got to go now. We got to go.
Yeah.
We want to get ready to go watch the game. You like Tampa.
Who's your pick?
I'm going to take Tampa too because I don't like Dak Prescott. I don't think that the Cowboys are going to be able to knock off. Even though I'm not a huge fan of the defense of the Bucks, I think that Brady will do just enough. Evans, listen. If Evans gets open, Evans and Godwin can dominate a game. And watch their tight ends tonight. If Cameron Brate's playing between Brate and Otten, Brady loves going to those guys. So keep an eye on those two.
I'm putting in right now, as soon as we hang up, a Scotty Miller touchdown, anytime touchdown.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Cole
Scotty
Beasley
Miller
got one. Why not Scotty Miller?
Yeah, you were happy when Cole Beasley scored. I was very happy.
You and Carmen both. I talked to Carmen yesterday too.
Yeah.
He's like, Cole Beasley. I was like, I know, I can't believe it.
Yep. Well, Carmen had nothing to do today because he had the day off. Hopefully, he'll be back tomorrow. And
I'll call and give him shit about it tomorrow.
So anyway, the hockey show tomorrow.
Hockey show tomorrow, then my show Wednesday, and Carmen's actually going to be a guest. So
there you go. That'll be a lot of fun. And don't forget Harry, because Harry with the playoffs. They're all over it with the Tampa Bay thing. They may even do a show later on tonight. You don't know.
He might be. And I know. And guys, listen to our guy over at the Sports Web too, Peter Blake.
Yeah.
This guy. I mean, you think we? Well, I know Fred's a San Fran fan, but you know how I sit here and I bitch and moan about the Bears for 17 weeks in a row, at minimum, and at nauseum.
Yeah.
Peter Blake is the biggest. I think he should be in like the Canton Hall of Fame as a super fan.
Yeah.
He doesn't really dress up. He looks like a half-assed Clark Kent, but the guy, I mean, he loves his Tampa Bay Bucks, and make sure you guys listen to him because he's awesome. So tonight, that's all I got. I'm taking the Bucks. This is my bets tonight. The Bucks on the money line. I'm taking a Tony Pollard touchdown.
And Scotty Miller.
Touchdown. That's my bets tonight. Separate bets, guys. Separate bets.
I'm going to go separate too because I'm tired of losing parlays, winning 6 out of 7. I'm tired of that. So I may go CD Lamb. I may go Evans, and we'll see. I'd love to see Tampa Bay win. We'll see how that goes. But they are getting 2.5 points, so if it's a close game, maybe they can still stay within the spread. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you're on Spotify, Mike will be around on Wednesday. We'll talk a lot more. We'll be back again next Monday night. Back in the studios next Monday night. Should be fun talking about 4 more tremendous games, and it'll be down to the final 4 after next week. So thanks a lot for watching. Huebs Views and Brews. Fat Mike joining me right here on 1252 Sports. Have a great night.
Take care.